has missed their breakfast. I should have said God is good. Even that you're not sure. Yeah, okay. I'll make it brief. Thank you, Movement for Community-Led Development President. I had to tell my team that we don't have any other president under this tent, and even for nothing, I can't speak after the president. But most important for me is that this is your day. So we want to hear from you, and that's why I thought I should be welcome you, make a few remarks. Let me say this because we have spoken. We have. I mean, in Makueni, we are famous for good things, writing good documents. But I've said before, and I must say again, that my understanding of devolution under Article 174 is delivery of proximate services. The principle of what devolution has 5 principles. One of the principles is the principle of subsidiarity, that services must deliver to the most lowest possible point. So I have moved from public participation. This gospel is, I've moved from that one to question. Simon is a very famous author. His name is Simon Sinek. For those who like books, even if you don't like books, just write it down. He has written a book that says, start with why. Start with, not why. Why? Why do we do public participation? Eventually, when this school is set up, if the curriculum has been set and it doesn't have this question, the question must be, has public participation in Makueni delivered proximate service? That question. If that question has not been answered, then we are just talking. And we must empower the community now, because I can tell you, President, this community is so learned. They are so equipped, but they need to be asking now the appropriate question. Is there value for money on this? And is this a priority now? Just like in your home, I mean, there is a wish list. In every home, there's a list. But do you deliver everything at the same time? So similarly, the community-led participation must deliver priorities first. It's important. Now, this has come at a very important point, because post-COVID, the resource envelope has thinned. And we don't know when it's going to start getting fat. We have no idea. So it has now become more important that we must look at development from those perspectives. Zipporah said something that has bothered me a lot about how the community are perceiving our projects. As we tell them, or as they tell us, actually they do, we want X, Y, Z, we want water, we are suffering, we want health, we are suffering, we want to deliver more babies, do maternity. At the end, when you deliver those projects, why don't they own them? They don't feel like it belongs to them. But there's even a worse position, which I'm going to tell you, that projects led by donors and other development partners are owned more by the community than government-led projects. So what is going on? What is it? Have we taught the wrong things? So this school has come at the right time, because those are the questions I would like answered. There's a famous case called, we used in Senate. It's called Doctors for Life, South African case. It's a locus classicus. You say locus, I'm going to teach you guys a few laws, and Latin. So just be writing notes. You might just sound educated one time when you go for a dowry ceremony. It's called the Locus Classicus on the principle of public participation. It says public participation generally is not mere tokenism. That's what I'm asking. Are we just going to the public for the sake of it? We plan, we ask, and do what we want. We ask them and then do what we want. And eventually, when we go and do the projects, they don't own them. So you have your water projects vandalized. People who wanted water, this second day, they have no water because somebody has carried the pipe. And nobody seems to think that is a problem. Because they think, well, government is going to come back. And then eventually ask us for aid. These things bother me a lot. Because we must transcend certain barriers. So those barriers, some of these questions are nearly moral. Because the speaker has quoted the law, and everybody understands the law here. And in fact, even if you do, there's a lesson we are taught in the first year of law school. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Yeah. So the authorities assume you know the law because you're supposed to. So why do we have a problem? I'm glad all the actors are here because that question you can't answer that question here. That question must be addressed out there because we appear to be digging a hole to fill a hole. Do you understand what you're saying? You dig this hole and then you fill this one and dig another one. That's how our development looks like. And I would like a situation where what we are doing in terms of public participation involves some of these things. Abraham Lincoln said this about government, and I'm going to say this about community development. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Projects of the people, by the people, and for the people. So it is. So that as we think about the public, we can focus on them. And when you focus on them, you then know, just like in your home, that this one is important today, this one can wait tomorrow. Your child tells you she wants an expensive shoe, a bag, and a book, and school fees. You choose so that we can deliver for these people what they need. It's not your work to transform the world. Even Jesus left. It's not your work. But what have you done the time you've been here for the community? So I send you with that. The school that is coming up, I don't want a school for the executive. You know, we have I want the school for Professor Kawasania. You see? For Maleso. Those people who spend time out there in the village with the women. Those people who spend time in hospitals. Not you guys. You guys are, DC here is, it's an executive. Can we have a category not only of the assembly, because the assembly should be taught how to oversight us, because they should oversight us and ask the necessary questions. But can we have community-led development school of even those people who are unschooled and we need to school them? Not in the sense of 1 + 1 = 2, or in the end that we must give them a certificate that they have passed, but to develop those skills, and then they become our ambassadors. The only sustainability about this project is not to be here forever. No. Teach people how to fish. That's how it is. And that's how I look at it. So we are proud as Makueni that you've picked us, other than Mexico. I was just trying to wonder. Mexico, Kenya. Mexico, Kenya. I was trying to look for similarities, but we have none. Absolutely no comparison with Mexico in very many respects. So we are the first school in Africa. Hebu jipigieni makofi. But there's a danger in being too schooled. You have so much education and nothing to show for it. So anza kutengeneza marking scheme yenyu, your own marking scheme out in the village. Tumetengeneza 4 boreholes. How many people have benefited? Imefika wapi? So that then instead of doing 6 boreholes, and I'm telling you this because Waziri presented this to us, instead of doing 6 boreholes and capping them, capping ni kufunga, you do 2 boreholes, you do water tanks, and you give the water to everybody. That is what is called school. School is not just school for the sake of school, bebe makaratas na folders. So thank you very much, President. We welcome you to Kenya. We welcome the team, including Daktari. And usimwone huyu ufikiri tu ni just mkorino. This is a good gentleman and a manager of a very good outfit. Inaitwa Ndugu for Dad. Ndugu? Hebu sema, Ndugus for Dadas. He for she. The men who do and defend the women issues. That's what Ndugu for Dada means. So you are the people who would advocate for GBV. It's not a woman agenda. Gender-based violence, you are the champions. That's why we have this good gentleman here. Menstrual hygiene. It's not a woman issue. Even men should discuss it. Family planning, HPV for girls. It's not a woman issue. That's what this good gentleman is doing. Just in case you're wondering whether we are being converted. Allow me to invite the President